Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be doing a brand new LEGO Marvel comparison. We're going to be comparing the two Ghost Rider sets from 2016 and 2020. On this side we have set number 76058, Spider-Man Ghost Rider Team Up from 2016, retailing for $19.99 USD with 217 pieces and 3 minifigures. And on this side we have the set number 76173, Spider-Man and Ghost Rider vs. Carnage from 2020, also retailing for $19.99 USD with 212 pieces and also 3 minifigures. Both of these sets are fantastic, and I'm going to be evaluating them on several different categories: minifigures, side builds, vehicles, price, and playability. And then we got a final verdict spot down there. So I'm going to be checking those off as we go, and hopefully, we'll find out which set is better. I have no idea. Honestly, these are two of my favorite Marvel sets because they have my favorite character, Ghost Rider. So without further ado, let's take a look at the first category. Alright, so with these sets, we have 3 minifigures in each, and they're really easily comparable to each other. So we're going to be comparing, the identical minifigures together. So here we have the two Spider-Mans included in both of these sets. I'm going to try to keep all of the 2016 stuff on this side of the screen, 2020 on this side, so bear with me there. The accessories here are, I think, cancel each other out. We have a really unique web piece from 2016, which is really cool, and that can just be pulled off and attached to one of these hand grips. From 2020, we have two of the Flickfire missiles or power blasts in web form. Those are really cool. I think those are equal, so all you really want to take a look at is the Spider-Man minifigures themselves. Both characters have plain blue legs and a very similar torso print. This one's a little lighter, that one's a tiny bit darker, and it's just a testament to how good LEGO's gotten at printing lighter colors and darker colors, although they still, can't fix flesh tones. The muscle design is pretty similar. Honestly, the torso print is pretty much identical. The eyes are a bit smaller here and, more solid white. I think I like this head a lot more. The back printing is very similar, definitely more detailed on the 2020 version, although where the 2020 version just jumps ahead so much is arm printing. Arm printing versus no arm printing. I think I'm definitely going to have to say that this Spider-Man is the better figure. So that's we're gonna compare all 3 of these minifigures, and then whichever one has 2 minifigures versus 1 is going to get the point. So right now 2020 is up 1-0. Let's take a look at the Ghost Rider now. All right, and here we have 2 different minifigures, the Ghost Riders. Now, for some reason, the 2020 Ghost Rider does not have any accessories, whereas 2016 has his epic chain, which looks so cool. Now, I guess if you really wanted, you could give this Ghost Rider some of the extra, Power Blast pieces, give him this little bar or something. The instruction manuals don't tell you to, but it's always an option. I'm going to discount accessories, though, because as cool as this chain is, I really just want to take a look at the minifigures themselves. Much like Spider-Man, both these characters have the exact same legs, plain black, and where they differ is torso printing and face printing. They got the exact same head molds. Back printing is pretty basic. They just has the chain there, which continues for continuity, and the jacket here. Now, I am much more inclined to say this one is better because Robbie Reyes is my favorite Ghost Rider because I watched the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. TV show. I'm not that much of a fan of the Nicolas Cage version, which I believe this guy is based off of with the chain and the biker jacket. So looking at just a print-wise, I really do like this jacket right here with the white stripes and everything. That looks so cool. Where this minifigure falls a little short for me is the gunmetal gray head. Ghost Rider is bone. Now, I know in the show that this character is loosely based off of, it's a little darker. It doesn't necessarily look like bone. And, I'm really torn here. I love the torso print here, and I love the face print here. This is, really, really, really tricky. So I think I'm going to have to give the point tentatively to 2020, but I'm going to call it a draw for now. We're going to take a look at Hobgoblin and Carnage now, and then, who knows? Depending on which one of those wins, maybe I don't even have to pick which Ghost Rider is better. All right, and here we have 2 different villains, the Hobgoblin and the Carnage figure. Now, the Carnage figure is not exclusive to the set. He has appeared several times before, identically to this one even. I believe Hobgoblin is exclusive. I think he might have come in a Mighty Micro set as a different version, but to the best of my knowledge, this character is exclusive to this set, especially with this kind of printing and design, which is already, a big leg up for 2016. Accessory-wise, Carnage has this incredibly crazy backpack with tentacles and everything, whereas Hobgoblin has a flaming pumpkin. Both of those are These characters are harder to judge than Spider-Man and Ghost Rider. As for villains, they're good inclusions. I definitely think Hobgoblin is better because he's more exclusive, whereas Carnage is very basic. I also love the dual-molded legs, which look really, really cool. And the printing are in the front with the belts and everything looks great. We get a really nice cape. And let's pull that up real quick. And we got some really, really nice detailed stuff on the back there. And then a really cool head with a facial expression on both sides, which is something Carnage lacks. Whereas the Carnage figure has no arm printing, toe printing and leg printing, which is cool, but nothing else to it, and a tiny bit of back of the head printing. But it's pretty simple, and I think the point here is going to have to go to 2016, just because we have an exclusive minifigure for Hobgoblin. So that does mean that it comes down to a tiebreaker for Ghost Rider. So whichever set I give the Ghost Rider point to is going to win the minifigure challenge. So this is really tricky, but I think 2020 is going to have to take the point here, simply because that Ghost Rider just looks a little more impressive. The face looks a little more menacing and not kind of like just a generic basic skeleton. So even though it was incredibly difficult, I think 2020 is getting the minifigure point. And now it's time to take a look at these side builds. From 2016, we have this excellent little corner side build. We have a small little glider for Hobgoblin. We have these two miniature fire pieces for, Hobgoblin's bombs they fall into the ground. And from 2020, we have nothing. There are no other builds in the set other than the car. At all. So I think without a shadow of a doubt, 2016 gets the side build point because there's nothing to compare it to. I mean, the set delivered a vehicle in addition to a street corner with a traffic light and mailboxes, a side build for the villain, and then two little play features there for, when he throws his little pumpkin bomb and everything. And so I think without a shadow of a doubt, yeah, side builds definitely is 2016's point. All right, the next category is vehicles. Now, which vehicle is better? Now, this is a tricky one because these vehicles are both great. They represent very different things. Here we have the vehicle, the Ghost Rider's motorcycle. And this was from the Ghost Rider movies that came out in 2000 and, what was that? 5 or 7? I don't really remember. I think there was one 2008. I don't know. There were two of them. And from the comics, I've always remembered him having this motorcycle. And this was the Johnny Blaze Ghost Rider. Looks really cool. I love the fire designs. It's very sleek. A really good motorcycle. Oversized, but Ghost Rider's motorcycle always was. And then from 2020, we have Robbie Reyes' Ghost Rider's car from the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. TV show. And I think later versions of the comics. There was also going to be an entirely new TV show based around just this character with his car and everything on Hulu. However, that did get canceled, hopefully so he can jump into the MCU. And I have a lot more personal bias and nostalgia for this model simply because it's from the TV show I love, whereas this is from the movies I hated, or not hated, but just didn't like. Speaking objectively though, from a build design, this one does have play features with the stud shooters, kind of cosplaying his engines and everything, which is cool. There's also the conversion where you can pull off all of these side pieces to make the car not on fire. All of that comes off and they give you extra little black pieces to furnish that off. Whereas this motorcycle is permanently stuck on the fire build. So playability wise, this vehicle has a little bit of an edge, though that'll be a different category later. For seating and arrangements and everything, this one is, I mean, they're pretty much equal. You can get the characters in and out very, very simply, although that's a bit ugly with the gap there. I'd prefer maybe like another seat in there or something. And honestly, design, this one looks sleeker. I'm just now a huge fan of the oversized Lego motorcycles. I think they always look a little dirty or unfinished or anything. So I think that I'm going to have to give the vehicle point to 2020, just because I feel like this car is a much more solid build, a complete build. Like, it's not breaking, it's a solid thing, whereas this just looks a little looser. You can't take away the fire without making the model look empty, and it's just like, it's thinner, it's smaller, and it's not as sturdy and not as, solid. Not as, you can't take this and put it in your Lego City, but you can definitely take this model, of course remove the fire, and then put it in the Lego City. So I think the vehicle point is going to have to go to 2020, although it's a close one. Remember guys, make sure to comment down below if you disagree with any of this. I'll be sure to talk with you guys, and I might even be able to change the final verdict depending on what you guys think, so make sure to let me know there. Now we're going to segue right into the next category. That's going to be price. Now both of these sets retailed for the exact same price. Both of them had the exact same number of minifigures. Both of them had an almost identical number of pieces. The one from 2020 is 212, whereas 2016 has 217. That's a small margin of difference. Now, for the price, I think both of these sets are a great deal. You're getting excellent minifigures and really good builds from both of them, regardless of which one you choose to buy. However, I do think that there's one of them that exhibits slightly better value simply because you get more to it. And I think that's going to have to be 2016 because, I mean, think about it. With 2020, you get an excellent build, some really great minifigures. However, you only get one build. From 2016, if I can get these minifigures to stay up, there we go. 2016, you get an excellent build. You get for the hero, you get a villain's build, and you get a street corner side build. And so all three of that leads into, like, you get more bang for your buck, whereas all the pieces here just go into a really cool car. It's a cool car, but everything goes there. So I think price is going to be 2016. Yeah, definitely that makes sense to me. Now, next category is going to be playability. And again, I think 2016 is going to have to win playability because, again, hero vehicle, villain vehicle, and side build. When you have all of this coming together, you just get it so there's huge amounts of playability. You can have SpiderMan swinging in from the top of this street corner. You can have Ghost Rider charging in on his motorcycle. You can have Hobgoblin shooting in on his little glider. Whereas this, you can have Ghost Rider in his car, and you can have Spider-Man on top of his car, I guess. And you can have Carnage stopping the car, but there's nothing else. It's just that. Whereas this, you can have this whole setup. There's a lot of side builds and everything. Tons of stuff to get a huge, awesome playability for. And I think that's so cool. Now, the score is 3-2 with 2016 in the lead right now. There is one more category I'm going to add real quick, and that's going to be my personal opinion. Which one do I think is better? And you guys are going to hate me for this, but it's going to be 2020, and that's going to make it a tie, like most of my comparisons. No, honestly, discounting that, both of these sets are fantastic. I could not recommend either of them more than the other because it really depends on what you want. If you don't have a Carnage figure and you get this set because you get Ghost Rider, Spider-Man, and Carnage. If you don't have Hobgoblin, get this set. If you prefer the Ages of S.H.I.E.L.D. or the Ghost Rider movies, take your pick, whichever vehicle you think is better. Personally, I think that this one is a much better play set and you get more bang for your buck, whereas 2020 is a much better display set and a much, cleaner and sleeker model. All in all, 2016 did win the final verdict there. So they are officially the winner. However, I say that both of them win in each category. Like minifigures, 2020 has the edge. Vehicle, 2020 has the edge. And then playability and price, 2016's got. Make sure to leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section down below, though. I'd love to hear from you. Do you guys have these sets? Do you display them? Do you play with them? What are your favorite parts? And what do you think of the Ghost Rider character? Do you want more from him in the future? I would love to see a bunch more sets kind of integrating this guy into, like Avengers stuff. Maybe if Marvel brings him to the MCU, we'll get tons more with him. But I do like these sets. I think it's cool that we got like two of them 4 years apart and for, multiple fans and everything. Both these sets are great. If you can find this one still, definitely recommend it. I'd be willing to pay up to $40 for it, I think, on the secondhand market. There's a ton of really cool details about it. But overall, guys, that's all I got for you today. I just figured I'd do this quick review because these sets are really similar and yet still shockingly different, especially since, price and pieces wise, they're almost identical. But yeah, that's all I got for you today. Thank you so much for watching. I'd love to hear what you think in the comments down below. And I want y'all to have a fantastic and safe rest of your day.